Hello, this is Josh Bourdon back again with another demo of Casfigurator. This is version, let's call it 0.1, which adds a JSS setup script that helps you create the proper extension attributes and smart groups you need. And the client-side scripts now read all of your information and app group criteria from the JSS, so they should be very easy to get up and running in any environment. You will, however, need to scope your apps the old-fashioned way, but never fear, scoping apps is already slated for version 0.2. And with that, let's get right into the demo of the basic wired iPad setup script. I have 3 newly enrolled supervised iPads in my JSS. They're all connected to my computer via Configurator 2. Right now they're all named iPad, which is not the most unique name, and as you can see on the JSS, in the Management tab of that device record, they have no apps scoped to them at all. So if we head over to our Casfigurator iPad setup script, we can get these renamed and into the desired app distribution groups. I've already run the Casfigurator JSS setup script, which you'll see later on in this video, so our preference for the JSS URL is already set. All we have to do is sign in with a username and password. In this release of Casfigurator, nothing is hard-coded into the script. All of the information is pulled from the JSS, including the extension attributes. You'll need to enter a base name so that Casfigurator can sequentially rename all of the devices. Unlike Configurator 2, it will do it with 2-digit numbers, so devices will sort correctly in your JSS. A bit of a pet peeve of mine. Our script has now checked the JSS for smart mobile device groups, with the names starting with App Distribution Group, and found their criteria. Again, this is all coming from the JSS now. You can select any or all of the criteria with a command click. I want these iPads to get the Google Drive apps and the first grade apps, and it will pop up to confirm our selection. Next, it will gather the serial numbers of the connected devices so it can send this information to the device record via the JSS API. It will also rename the devices locally over USB with Configurator. The Configurator 2 automation tools do seem to take more time for each device you connect, so for the sake of time, I will be speeding up this demonstration. With the script done, our devices show their new names in Configurator, and let's just check the JSS. All of the device names have updated. So if we head over to a device record and look at the App Distribution Group field, we can see that our selected distribution groups have been added. And if we go over to the Management tab in the Apps section, we can see that we have 6 apps scoped to our devices, all without moving devices around in the JSS. So now you're thinking, well, what if I've set up some devices and they're already out in the field? Where's your configurator-based God now? Well, we've got that covered. Let's hit the JSS. We can see that we still have our device groups set from before, and we want to change them to different groups. So much like Eric Clapton in '94, it is time for us to go unplugged. This script works just like our other iPad setup script, except that it will use the JSS API match function for mobile devices to find devices by their base name and change their app distribution groups accordingly. Same as before, all of the information is coming from the JSS. Always good to double check our base name, and it will find all of the numbered devices and ask us to change the app distribution groups. Now keep in mind that any selection you make is going to completely overwrite the previous groups in that field. Now our script is confirming the devices that it found, and it will go ahead and make those changes for you. That's a lot faster than my production JSS with 5,000 iPads. Now if we refresh that device record, we can see that it has music apps and second grade in its distribution list field. And if we head over to the Management tab under Apps, the apps scoped have changed as well. Before I demo the JSS setup script, let's cut to me from the past and go over the basics of how Casfigurator functions. First, there's an extension attribute where we'll write the data for our app distribution group lists. Our script will populate space-separated values to this extension attribute for each device we run it on. Next is a series of smart groups that will use the criteria of app distribution group is like, and then whatever we decide to name our distribution list. And finally, we need to have the apps scoped to their appropriate groups. Now that we have an idea of the moving parts, let's go over how the JSS setup script works to get the extension attributes and groups ready. We'll start by running the Casfigurator JSS setup script. The setup hasn't been used on this JSS before, so the script will ask us to enter in our JSS URL. Make sure to enter the full URL, including the port number, if that's how your JSS is set up. Next, it will ask for a username and password for the JSS. Pretty standard stuff. This account does need write access for the API. And watch out for special characters in your password that may interfere with bash scripts. We are going to be writing data to the JSS. It will only add new stuff, not modify existing items, but it will still warn you every time there's going to be a post command. First, it will look for a mobile device extension attribute called app distribution group. If it doesn't find it, it will ask if you would like to add it. Let's check the JSS to verify, and it's there. Next, it will try to look for any groups starting with the name app distribution group, and find the string used for the criteria of each group. If it can't find those, it will ask you if you'd like to create them. You'll be able to keep creating groups until you tell the script no. We'll add groups for Google Drive apps, group for music apps, and then first grade and second grade apps. You'll be able to keep creating groups until you tell the script no. Once you're done, the script will check for app distribution groups one last time to show all of your current groups. Checking on the JSS. Looks like all of our groups made it. If you want to add more groups later on, just run the setup again. It will remember your JSS URL, find your app distribution group extension attribute, and allow you to add new groups. All that's left is scoping apps to these groups. That's it for this version of Casfigurator. As always, if you're interested in Configurator automation, please check out configautomation.com and any of the resources you see on the screen. Thanks for watching.